Okay, so for this decorative spin on earring wire, you will need 20 gauge half hard round wire. You will need 2 beads, and I am simply going to use seed beads. And depending on the design of the rest of your earring, you can decide what you would use. I'm just going to use these to show you for the purposes of this video. But when you are actually making your earrings, you will know kind of what your design is and what bead you're using, and you could just add an additional bead on your earring wire that goes with those earrings. You'll also need your wire cutters, round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, and a jewelry file or a burr cup. And you'll need something cylindrical to wrap the wire around. In this case, I'm just going to use my ring mandrel because it's handy here. You could use a marker like a Sharpie or something like that. So you'll see this tutorial is very similar to your just plain earring wire tutorial. So we're going to start out by cutting some wire. In this case, usually I say you can start with like 3 inches. I'm going to go down to 2.5 inches and make these just a little bit smaller. And you can do that anytime you want, really. If you want to make your earring wires a little bit smaller, you can do that. Or bigger, you can do that. And then I'm just going to make a flush cut on all the ends of my wire, on both of these wires. And then I'm just going to make sure that they are exactly the same length. And I didn't really cut them very well, so they're not, so I'm trimming them off. Okay, so now I have my round nose pliers, and I'm going to make a loop on each of these. So I'm holding the wire in my round nose pliers. I want to make a small loop so it's toward the tip, and the wire is at the top of the pliers but not poking through. And then I'm just going to twist away from myself, forming a loop with this hand over here. I'm wrapping the wire. Go as far as your wrist will let you, readjust, and then do the same thing to complete the loop. And then it will look like a P. And then do the exact same thing with your other wire. So now I'm grabbing my beads. And like I said, I'm just using little seed beads in this case, which will be cute. You might want to use different beads depending on your earring design. So just slide them on, and they'll go down to where the loop is. And now I'm grabbing my ring mandrel, and like I mentioned, you can use anything cylindrical that you like. And then I'm just going to line these 2 wires up, make sure they're at the same spot, and then I'm going to make a bend with, I'm using the very, very tip of my ring mandrel. You can do this around a Sharpie or something like that. We just do this so at the same time so that both earrings are the same. And that creates kind of a big round loop here. If you want a smaller loop, then you would use something smaller to wrap your earring wires around. I'm just going to push this in a little bit. And then I just like to put a little bend at the tip here. So again, I'm just making sure these are lined up. I'm using my chain nose pliers and just making a slight bend. If you need to, you can trim off the excess wire. So at this point, usually we would hammer our earring wires. I am not going to do that with these because I have the bead. You could hammer it and just kind of hold the bead off to the side of your steel block and hammer it to harden the wire, and that would work as well. But you don't always have to hammer earring wires. It just kind of helps it be a little more stable. Now I'm grabbing my file, or you can use a burr cup if you prefer. those are the earring wires with a bead. I think they look so sweet, and I hope you like them too.